Apparently I also have to bring this up. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to record from my perspective. Okay, oh well. Folks, I thank you all out for coming tonight. 57.7 gigatons of greenhouse gases are in the atmosphere right now because of human activity. That is 50% higher than pre-industrial levels. Imagine if I got 50% taller. I'd still be shorter than Abe, but that's still a dramatic difference. To be frank, we can solve this issue, but it will need bipartisan support. It will need both parties to come together and help each other beat climate change. Imagine you're a 9-year-old in the midst of the 2020 election, and you're driving to school. Your mom is playing the news, and a statement is made. It's regarding climate change and the upcoming general election. Your mom replies to the news, saying something to the effect of, "I really hope Joe Biden wins." You, as a 9-year-old, wonder who Joe Biden is, and ask, why do you want Biden to win? Your mom responds that Biden wants to end climate change. You ask about Trump, who you know is also running. She says he denies climate change. You already like the sound and idea of Biden over Trump. Then, a few months later, Trump loses in the largest general election in US history. This was my introduction to politics. Then, in 2022, one of the largest events of your life unfolds, the Russian-Ukrainian war. Overnight, Russia sends 190,000 troops to Ukraine. This event gets you right into the world of geopolitics and geography. You're fascinated with how countries interact with each other. But mostly, the United States' stance. Joe Biden was a pioneer of aid to Ukraine. He got over $180 billion in aid to Ukraine. This event catapulted me, once again, into the world of politics, where I quickly learned about environmental and economic policies. It was at this stage I also found out how much the government can help. I also found out that there is a lot of corruption keeping climate action at bay. That's why I'm running for president. Joking aside, Gabe, you didn't say the thing. Joking aside, the first people to know about climate change were ExxonMobil. And the first thing that they did was started a lobby group to create doubt about climate change. I want this to end. People should know when something as large as climate change is discovered. We should not shy away from the truth. Regardless, I love politics because I believe real change can be made. That's why I chose my topics to regard politics. How politics can help address the environmental issue of climate change and the cons of the current GOP climate policies. Firstly, let's start with some very clear blanket facts. During the last 2 Democratic administrations, Democrats have spearheaded pro-climate legislation. As an example, the Inflation Reduction Act that Biden signed. This bill added over $300 billion in tax credits to lower carbon emissions. Another example is the House Joint Resolution that would make it an official government goal to expand green energy while improving the economy. This is called the Green New Deal. Meanwhile, Republicans have gone against that initiative. For example, H.R. 2454, a bill to put forth provisions concerning clean energy. It was never brought to the Senate because of a likely Republican filibuster. As of 2025, the United States has had the most emissions we have ever had. Along with that, the temperature has increased by about 1.4 degrees Celsius. As of the 2026 fiscal year budget, the U.S. government is putting $1.5 trillion into defense spending. With just $500 billion of those dollars, we could fund 41,000 offshore wind turbines, or 125 onshore wind turbines, or 74 Big Macs, 74 billion Big Macs. This could be added to the $61 billion already designated for green energy. This could be Regardless, we should put more focus on the environment. National security is very important, but so is our planet. The Trump administration has passed the Big Beautiful Bill that includes adding over 7 billion tons of carbon emissions by 2030, according to Josh Gabtos and Ho Woo Nam. Along with the 7 billion tons of carbon, the Big Beautiful Bill is working to roll back renewable energy electric vehicles, and clean manufacturing tax credits. It's also expected to shrink solar farms and wind turbines. Republicans currently are not looking to fix the environment and are not looking to fix humanity's mistakes. Republicans are enlarging the issue and trying to avoid the consequences. In Trump's 2 terms in office, according to AmericanProgress.org, he took away 30% of the EPA's budget, $1.7 billion from clean air and water, $20 billion to reduce climate change, and denied states and communities the ability to help their community. That is over $29 billion taken from the climate efforts and put towards things like immigration. These budget cuts also forced the EPA to fire 15,000 people. So not only are we trying to avoid this environmental disaster, but we're also firing people who are trying to fix it. Let's talk about some consequences of these GOP-backed policies. Most clearly, it makes climate change worse. The current GOP-backed Senate and House has clearly stated that they do not care about climate change and will roll back protections. We know this. For example, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, stated, "The climate is changing, but the question is it being caused by natural cycles over the span of Earth's history, or is it changing because we drive SUVs? I don't believe in the latter. I don't think that's the primary driver," end quote. And we can look at his voting record and see how he has opposed climate legislation. Along with the Speaker of the House not thinking fossil fuels impact the climate, the President pro tempore of the Senate, another Republican, otherwise known as PPT, who is Chuck Grassley, said, "If we are to meet our long-term emission targets without sacrificing affordable electricity, we need to invest on horizons technologies," showing not only that the PPT is more in favor of climate change and green technology, despite the overwhelming evidence that climate change is real, the Speaker of the House has done very little to fix it. But to the House of Representatives, I will say thank you to Republican John Curtis, who is actively working to fix it. Aside from John Curtis, I want to say to the GOP caucus, you need to do more to prevent the growth of climate change. As of now, emissions are going up. Temperatures have risen about 2.3 degrees since the pre-industrial era. The estimated, apparently I don't know how to say this word. Detrimental, just gonna say it's that. Temperatures for the oceans are 1.5 degrees, according to SolarTech. At 1.5 degrees, most coral reefs will disappear, 70 to 90% of them disappearing. This is only one issue. In the near future, when water becomes scarce, countries may start water wars. Luckily, a study by the Oregon State University has found that low-level conflicts over water rights has happened, but cooperation is more likely. I will say to the Trump administration, they can easily fix this by raising the millionaire taxes. You know, the ones that are breaking their backs. If we raised the tax 5% on millionaires, we could put $43 billion into things like the environment, according to Howard Gleckman. I don't think this will happen, though, as the Trump administration has restated time and time again that they do not plan on increasing the wealth tax. To the Trump administration and GOP Congress, please grow a spine and stop avoiding these issues. But why should you care? The reason we need to take action is that our environment is actively declining. Animals are dying, such as the spotted owl. Rivers are drying up, such as the Mekong River basins. While governments are lying, corporations are denying, animals are going extinct, soil and dirt are getting contaminated, the environment is at stake. If we do not fix these issues, more and more animals will go extinct. And you may have to tell your grandchildren stories about animals that no longer exist. Some animals, such as the vaquita, with only 10 of its kind left, according to the World Wildlife Fund, may be extinct within months. Not all people in their 50s or 60s may mind this, but it's still worth helping. The world has nurtured you and helped you. It is your time to pay it back. Even with this, there's still an economic reason. Right now, we still have a lot of deposits of oils, but even these are limited. If we do not switch to green energy, we may run out of our largest source of energy within the next 50 years, according to Met.com. As the current Republican government has done next to nothing, what can we do? We can go to protests such as the March 28th protests and the Friday for the Future protests. We can do things like donate to Earth Justice or other environmental protection groups that tend to take legal cases regarding the environment. Or we can help fund campaigns that are pro-environment, regardless of party, such as AOC, Kamala Harris, James Tallarico, John Kerry, Janelle Bynum, or John Curtis. Now, something everyone here can do to help limit their emissions is as simple as using reusable things. Or we can take public transportation, or we can speak out and make a larger, more political change. Now, I want to leave everyone with this. As it stands, we are very close to a global and constitutional crisis. The modern-day GOP has started breaking the very fabric of what this nation was founded on. Listen, every campaign is a different story, and a different group of people who have their own goals and beliefs. It does not matter if you're red or blue or an independent. That is non-negotiable. We are all people. We are all here to learn, and we are all here to defend our democracy and environment. Now, I want to end my capstone speech with a quote from Joe Biden in 2016. We do not scare easily. We never bow. We never bend. We never break when confronted with crises. No, we endure, and we overcome. We always, always, always move forward. We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line. Don't forget it, and have a good night.